Hello everyone, welcome to Wednesday on Your View. I am Tokwe Mark Odige and I'm so happy to be here. As usual, I have the ladies with me. Akashat Nimazibiri, looking warm, earth tone. Yeah, this color is reminding me of, you know, desert safari, you know, brown nude.
Sweet sisters Juba be styling me for this whole month.
You were talking, I saw your video about siblings, sisters.
Yes.
Doing training for some
sisters
people.
In leadership, business and leadership. We're doing training for 200 women. We're targeting before Ramadan, so before mid next month to have finished training. So you know Wuraola Young now. She's the convener of the siblings, and it's been over years old. Women in business, Muslim women in business and all of that. Wow. And they're helping startups to, you know, more people to start businesses. They're doing various kinds of training. And I saw it on her WhatsApp and I subscribed to do training because I have a business. And she was, you that you should be sponsoring. So she, you know, she insisted that I must sponsor that. I'd already been highlighted to sponsor some people for the training. So we're going to be
happy. It's good. We must keep empowering people around us. One rich person is nothing as compared to the level of poverty.
Make a lot of people empowered.
It's very important.
So today is Mr. Ziburi's birthday.
Hey, you people.
Yes, the match people.
Match people.
We know.
In fact.
Oh, they are wonderful.
Happy birthday, Mr. Akashat Ziburi.
No, he's not Akashat.
Okay, he's the Ziburi.
Yes.
You joined your name.
Akashat is my dad.
Oh, okay.
And it was his birthday last
Happy birthday,
Mr.
We know we hear Olome. We know it's you. Once we hear Olome,
what does
we know
Olome
it's
mean?
you.
My
love. We thank you for Shaki Nima.
Yes,
and we thank you for taking care of him. And we can see your
God
hands.
I've been writing the poem since
God increase you.
On Saturday.
You wrote a poem?
Because I couldn't get off from my bed. I was putting on over the weekend. So I wrote a poem. I wrote another one this morning. I thought, look, let me not post it. Let me just send it privately.
Yeah, sometimes.
So I did that. So this
please, I'd like to see that poem. Post it now. Let us see.
No, send it privately to our
I've told
group.
you people. Show these people.
You see, this week of your birthday, we don't go hear word.
Let me tell you.
Did you notice that on Monday, since Monday, she has just been dropping new collections?
I loved her BC's dress on Monday. Very corporate Ankara look. I was just saying at home, just making somebody's head swell. But then I didn't like the
wig on top of it. Wait, she's selling a market.
I love that.
How you doing, BC?
I'm doing amazing. So I've started planning for nurturing the nurturer.
It's coming back.
Yes, it's coming back. We couldn't have the events for last year because of COVID-19. And I didn't want to burden teachers because a lot of schools were just trying to adjust to the new normal of having to do online school. And my targets basically are for schools that are not able to train their teachers regularly. So it's not just about making money. Anyway, this one is going to be free. God has arrested me and said, I gave you a vision and I wanted you to carry it out for people who need it. It's not for money making. You make money through hair, you make money through clothes. I've blessed you in numerous talents. This is you giving back to me. So I was starting, we've commenced planning for it. Hopefully it will be at the end of May. And it's going to be online as well. Yeah. So all teachers, you know, any teacher who needs to be trained on the 21st century teaching methods, tell them to start sending me a message right now to book your slot.
For my sister.
Oh, that would be amazing. It's going to be free. Okay. This is me giving back to the society.
Oh, that's so good. We must all take advantage of opportunities to learn. So my real estate business, my affiliates, we train on Wednesdays and Sundays, and I take it very serious. This Sunday I couldn't do the training because Sam's birthday. So today we're going to be having training at 8 p.m. and I was preparing for the training. I'd prepared something else, and yesterday just came to my head that you need to teach people about integrity when it comes to salesmanship, because salespeople are focused on their profits and not on the fact that you have to offer quality service with integrity.
Give value.
You know, so someone called me and told me that this real estate helped me to push that. I have a land in Ikeja. I want you to help me sell it. And I said, does he have CFO? If he doesn't have, I will not push it. The next thing he said, but we can pad it. I said, if you sell if you pad a property to someone now, the person might buy it, but the person will never buy from you again because you find out.
Yes.
No, not even that.
Yes.
If my client bought a property you padded, it gives him a problem in future. I'll find you and sue you.
Yeah, yeah. We need to. No, but honestly, we need to.
I like that.
You need to learn that. There's something I learned quickly, that you should give more in use value than what you get in cash value.
So
let people know your business, that anytime they buy from you, they will use, get tired and give out.
Yeah. So you must give value that is legit and credible.
Yeah. So
Nigerians have this habit of saying Otilo, but Otilo
it doesn't go on. Very true. So for anyone with concerns, that's an important lesson. Moving on quickly, we will take a short break. When we return, we'll go through the front pages of the newspapers. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, we're back, and we'll be starting off the newspaper review with Nigerian Tribune. Sometimes you need to jazz it up.
You did not give us a heads up.
I just saw it. Major headline, how Nigeria lost 5.7 billion to shoddy concessions, PPP, that's public-private partnership projects. That's from the House of Rep. Records $90.5 million loss yearly from Lagos airport ports. And in other news, insecurity may scuttle 2023 polls. That's from Autumn. Legislative workers shut houses of assembly nationwide over financial autonomy. Obaseki demolishes ex-deputy governors' 2 other houses. Boko Haram fighting with arms, ammunition seized from Nigerian troops. Imo North elections, controversy over petition against Supreme Court justices. I didn't write the petition, that's from Buni. You must resign, that's from PDP. Akeredolu spoke for himself. Akitoye-led group says, but Abi Amila accepts Steve's petition rejected by Deputy Speaker. And secessionists frustrated. Nigeria must restructure. That's from Fayemi. So what are we going with?
Major headline.
Okay, go ahead.
Found very, very interesting that the chairman of the ad hoc committee investigating governing lease of federal government-owned assets, Honorable Daniel Asuko, released these, figures. He said that Nigeria is losing about 5.7 billion.
So much money.
We've lost it to PPPs. And he said that the particular investigation that they are looking at now is the FAA, that's the Federal Airport, saying that the concessions we lose about $90.5 million annually to the concessions of the local and the international airports under the FAA. Personally, when I passed through the toll gate and I paid the 200 naira to get to the other side of town from Ikeja, I always wonder where this money goes. Even during the pandemic, lockdown, everything, because it was one of the secure lanes for me to go get home. We paid.
No, but what I think is, as lawyers, it's the legal area that we don't check our documents before we sign those contracts. Like we sign contracts
without reading properly.
Even if the contracts that, under that concession, there's most of the time the concessionaire is to maintain
the road,
infrastructure
so
around
we are not.
There. So what they do airports, they will not leave. And even within the airports, you find bad toilets, and to find out now that there's a concession. And he highlighted that we concession power generation plants, with concession power transmission, with concession distribution network, with concession roads, bridges, and our railways and seaports. With concession so many things that, the government should
make us a lot of money and we're not making money from it.
The real power is with them, the reps, the lawmakers, to do their oversight functions and constantly help us, get...
so Boko Haram?
Yeah, so sources in the military have said that the ammunitions the Boko Haram use is not because they get them from outside or they're being supplied to them by foreigners, but they actually get them from the military after they carry out attacks on the troops. So the military is saying that because they are static, they are in one position, the bandits and the Boko Haram know where they are, so they become easy targets and easy prey for them. So when they come in, they dismantle them and then they cut away with their troops. And they are asking that they supply them gunships with night fighting facilities, that in 3 months, if they can get these equipment, in 3 months, they'll be able to, curb the issue of Boko Haram. But I am wondering, because there's a probe about to happen right now concerning the 1 billion that was earmarked to buy ammunition.
I think it's also
for,
we'll continue
the Nation. The Nation, major headline, ex-military chiefs, troops lack proper arms to fight. Soldiers battling Boko Haram in Hilux vans with outdated guns. Lagos Ogubauchi top vaccination chart, 215,217 get vaccines in 2 weeks. And in other news, we have shot Ekiti policewoman dies. Autumn meets Buhari over attack by headers. APC will rule for 32 years. Buni boasts party inaugurates panel. Autonomy, workers shut houses of assembly. Zenith retains Nigeria's Best Bank Award. MPC okays more CBN spending to boost economy. So, obviously, we'll continue with the arms story, or do you have something
There's
else?
this ex-military chief, that's not, whose name was not mentioned. He just retired and is opening up on how bad the situation is with them, saying that in Borno, that while they were fighting with Hilux vans, the Boko Haram, instead of having, proper, what's it called the military, MRAP, that's mines-resistant armored personnel carrier, that they didn't have that. They were fighting with Hilux vans. They have outdated weapons. And he's calling that the statement of the NSA, that's the retired army chief, military head, Munguno, be probed. Because, he was reported in an Hausa radio to say, saying that the 1 billion naira the president approved was given, and that but they can't see weapons, and that he sure the president will investigate. How the money was spent.
So who was it given to?
So the ex was given, sort of implicating the ex-service chief. But now he came back and retracted that statement and said he was misunderstood or misquoted, saying that I didn't say like that. I say it small. I did not say it very well. I'm just saying finish, or sort of confusing. But what he said the first time was very clear to those who understood Hausa, and all the papers went agog with this. And this ex-military chief is saying that 1 billion should be probed. It's very important that it's probed.
We need to know.
It didn't reflect in the fight.
So vaccination?
Vaccination, yes. So vaccination has started. It's progressing. Some states are topping other states. It was mentioned here. So for Lagos State, they've vaccinated 58,461 persons. Kaduna, 14,572. Ogun, 19,257. Which other? I want to get the high figures. Then Jigawa, 20,800. They're still appealing that a lot more people come out for the vaccination. Some states have not even started at all.
The report didn't carry Kogi.
Yes, everybody.
Because
there was
zero.
Kogi
is protesting that they have not even shared for them.
They've not started.
Moving on to the Punch, major headline. Autumn visits Buhari. Governor says 2023 polls under threats. Stop inflammatory statements. Benue governor advises Nigerians with full-scale banditry. Nobody will think of 2023 election, says Akeredolu. Buhari's second term, best time for restructuring, says the Ondo State governor. And in other news, we have protesting parliamentary workers demand autonomy for state assemblies. Again, Amoteku seizes 100 cows over illegal grazing in Odo. NBA protest as magistrate orders lawyers handcuffed jails councils for contempt. NDLEA seizes UK, Australia-bound cocaine, heroin from Korea firms. Reps grill amnesty boss over 21 audit queries. Controversy surrounds apprentice deaths in custody over businessman's missing 14 million naira goods. We're working to rule Nigeria for at least 32 years. That's from APC. We're expecting 84 million AstraZeneca vaccine doses this year. That's from Oshimbajo. Nigeria vaccinates 215,277 people. Ghana vaccinates 420,000, while 7 states shun exercise. Federal government begins process for concession of 12 highways, and we disbursed $80 million weekly for school fees. That's from Emefiele. So, what are we going with the human interest? Who died?
Should I take? Okay, let her take the major story.
So, Governor Autumn visited the president, and after, it was 3 days after his attack, he visited the president and addressed the press after he came out saying that, the insecurity in the country could jeopardize 2023 election, saying that, and he appealed also to the politicians that they should not let their different individual ambitions 2023 divide this country, that some people would give anything. And he said he could not have joked about the attack that happened to him or, made the false alarm about it, that such a thing was a serious issue and that he wanted it properly addressed. Also, there's an adjoining story in the papers that now the military is combing the forest in Benue State for his attackers, trying to see if they are locking in the forest. I don't have the Akeredolu side, I have the Fayemi side of things on the cessation, but we'll get there.
Oh, okay. We'll still get there. The human interest story. So, Chinem Obu, a 23-year-old young man, died in custody because his Oga, you know, the way they have in trade fair, they have boys who learn the trade through a particular...
Was it in trade fair?
Yeah, it happened in trade fair. So the Oga accused him. He has served him for years, and he was just about to be let go. You know, they normally settle them. So the Oga accused him of stealing 14 million worth of goods from his store, and then reported him took him to the police station. He was detained. According to the story, they said he was tortured and he died. But the police... in a trade fair has responded saying that he was not tortured. He did not even deny the allegation. He accepted that he took the goods, he sold them for whatever reason, and he was in a cell alone. So he committed suicide, and that was what happened. But traders in trade fair markets were very upset, knowing the story that he was just about to be settled before the Oga found this. They went to the Oga store, they demolished the store, they burnt it.
So I just hope that the police have a video.
It is.
Yes, we will need more investigation.
To be sure.
No, confessional statements have to be on camera. So I hope that they already have the video, because they are saying he confessed. So I hope they already have that, because aside that.
We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with the stories in the newspaper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. So we'll be continuing now to The Guardian. With The Guardian, Finance Minister, CBN deny moves to liberalize forex market. And in other news, gunmen kill 3 policemen at Abia checkpoint, steal 2 rifles. Only justice can stop secession threats. That's from Fayemi, Sonny, and others, telling federal government. Dangote Cement to pay 97 billion in corporate tax for 2020. Legislative workers strike nationwide for financial autonomy.
So, because it's finance, let me just read what they said. The Minister of Finance was quoted some days back saying that the federal government would move away from the CBN's forex exchange arrangement and move to something she called IE, I think it's International Exchange Rate or something. So, the CBN president, what they call the head of the CBN, Emefiele, was provoked to reply. And he quoted, he said, let me just say that, repeat that Nigeria has not changed from its foreign exchange management policy. Nigeria remains on a managed float. And he explained what a managed float means. That it means that the CBN, being the institution that has the core mandate for forex administration in the country, would watch the market and see how the market operates. So they would continue to regulate and control forex in the country, and they will be watching and continue. I think this Minister of Finance wanted to respond to our madam at the World Trade Organization when she advised on a single exchange rate. That, you know, these are our inconsistencies and all of that sort of confuses investors. So he says they will be watching and they'll continue to
I hope they're on one page, because both the CBN and the Finance Minister, they all should work together.
Of the gunmen.
Yes, so gunmen yesterday killed 3 policemen in Abia State and took their rifles from them. They were actually ambushed at their checkpoint, and the deputy governor to the state has appealed to the citizens, the residents in the area, saying that they should not be scared, that they have spoken to the police not to come back for like a reprisal attack, and they are asking the police to also take time out to carry out investigations and not just pick up anybody on the streets because they have been killed. So he's also appealing to the vigilantes. Everybody should, you know, watch out and look out so that they can get the hoodlums that carried out these attacks.
Moving on to Vanguard, major headline, Southwest, frustration driving calls for secession. That's from Fayemi. Yoruba group plans 1 million march in Akure. Yoruba in diaspora hold dialogue on restructuring. In other news, insecurity, police mounts 24-hour surveillance in Lagos, schools and farms. Senate moves to recover 16 trillion naira AMCON loans. AstraZeneca may have used outdated information in trials. U.S. officials allege. Obaseki's bulldozer pulled down ex-Edo governor Obudu Ihonvere Itsemwagbo's houses. I cannot bastardize Edo name. These are my in-laws. And $1.5 billion PH refinery will run for another 15 years. That's from NNPC GMD. Seems our conversation fell on deaf ears. But let's talk about the
major headline.
Surveillance.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So the Governor Fayemi was responding, and I think everybody should be very careful around this issue now. Was responding on what Governor Akeredolu said yesterday when he said Ondo people choose Nigeria and that they would remain in Nigeria as against the Sunday Igboho secession plan of the Yoruba nation. Saying, no.
This is not what we're talking
Fayemi
about.
was trying to, saying some people respond that frustration about the insecurity and all the issues in the Southwest must have led to, that call, saying that some people will respond positively, some people will be immature about it, and that, trying to water it down, saying, that is what led to the agitation. And this Yoruba group, there's a Yoruba group saying that they want to do a 1 million march in Akure, Akeredolu's own Ondo, that they want to do a 1 million march. The spokesperson calls himself Ilana Omo Odua, saying that the agitation for self-determination shall be peaceful, it shall be bloodless, it shall be intellectually and rooted and legally grounded, saying that they will use all possible means, but that Akeredolu should allow them their 1 million march in Akure and see whether he's speaking for Ondo people alone or he's speaking for himself alone. That's what they believe, that what he said yesterday was his personal opinion and doesn't speak for the Yoruba people. Yoruba people, since now then they speak for now. You people should please.
Tell us.
No, but Fayemi already said that it was frustration based on the insecurity, and insecurity is also in Lagos. So BC was going to take the story of insecurity.
Yes, so the Commissioner of Police Lagos Command, Mr. Hakeem Odumosu, has said that the police is going to mount a 24-hour surveillance on all the schools, both public and private schools in Lagos and the farms as well. But they are going to be working with the Ministry of Agriculture and the state governments, because they realize that most of the farms do not have, the roads are not accessible, so the cars can't get there. They will need to be able to purchase motorcycles to be able to carry out this surveillance. And they are also, asking for support from both parents, teachers. Everybody needs to, our hands need to be on deck to protect our people. And they're asking, there was something they were asking for again that I wanted to mention. Just skipped me now.
Let me quickly take the story of what's happening in Edo State, my people. So as it happens, the governor of Edo State, they say the animosity and bitterness that trailed the September 19 election 2020. This is linked, they say this is a follow-up. What happened is the governor of Edo State has demolished 3 houses, one belonging to the past deputy governor, Dr. Pius Obudu. Property is actually currently in GRA Benin. The C04 was revoked and the case is still in court. The wife said that Mrs. Precious Obudu said she was in the house and she just found the bulldozer came to their house. Their properties were still there. Wow. And they didn't even allow them to take out any of their properties, and the building was bulldozed down. They also bulldozed the houses belonging to Mike Itemagbon and Professor Julius Ihonvere, who are allies of the former governor Adams Oshomole.
So yes,
the governor said that it's just...
The governor has the power because he holds, in trust all lands within the state. He has the power to revoke anybody's license or CFO to hold property, but it has to be for justifiable means. That's for a rightful public policy or not. So under equity, these people have rights, and I wish that they would push for it. If that property was not bulldozed, and because there's a need for a hospital, another property, or they're occupying a water... this is vendetta.
Before we move on, so it's very important that every farmer in Lagos State gets the government permits, because sometimes government cannot be able to provide security if they do not know that there's a farm somewhere.
So Daily Sun major headline: Army declares war on Igboho, Kanu, Dokubo, target secession promoters. COVID-19 vaccine, we've taken that story. Obaseki, we've taken that story. NDLEA intercept parcel of cocaine, heroin going to UK, Ireland, Australia. We haven't taken that story. Tension in Bayelsa as ex-militants blow up pipeline. I can't believe we are at this point again. Soldiers destroy illegal refineries in Abia. So let's take that story quickly.
The pipeline? Yes, so it was blown up in Bayelsa State. That's the Nigerian Ajib Oil Company. And investigations have revealed that it was blew up by ex-militants. And normally the Ajib Oil pipelines used to have contractors who were, carrying out the surveillance there. But then they had to send them away, saying that they needed to restructure. And so that place had been left without any form of security and surveillance. So these particular people, there was one ex-militant who was a part of it, who they claimed his name was Endurance, and he had issues with another ex-militant. So they've been... want us to take the Parliamentary Workers Ground State Assembly. Yeah.
So yes, they're just asking that, because the president has signed the autonomy of the legislators and judiciary in May 2020, and it empowers the accountant general to, from source, remove the monies for these
legislative workers
assemblies from source rather than give to the state governors who might not, give them their autonomy to control their finances. And the workers being owed so far are saying, we have law that has empowered us, to control our resources. Why is it not?
I find it very, very annoying that legislators, our lawmakers, can be found breaking the laws, and it's happened in many other areas. But this one is one that should call for attention.
This is the Accountant General's call. So if he's not removing from source and remitting to them so that they can control their finances, that's a problem. But now they are on strike across states.
Nationwide.
All
right, that's all we can take on Front Page Review for today. When we return, we'll go through the hot topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. Parents of 39 students kidnapped at the Federal College of Forestry, Mechanization, Afaka, Igabi local government area of Kaduna State have given the federal government a 48-hour ultimatum to rescue their sons and daughters as they were kidnapped 14 days ago. The ultimatum will elapse today. The big question is, should the Kaduna State government and the Kaduna State government negotiate with bandits, as we have seen other states do, or should he stand by his word that Kaduna State will not negotiate with bandits? Join the conversation by calling us on 0812-7053-687, or you can call us on 091-390-76948. Tweet to us at UVTVC. We'd love to hear your own opinion. So, Nima, all of us are mothers on this, we're all mothers, and parents can be sentimental. But when it comes to governance and government policy and how government should deal with insecurity, and then we've seen what has happened in other states that have negotiated, what would be your own point of view? So you give me your opinion, removing the parenting cap, and then you give me
wearing the parenting cap.
So what's your first opinion when you saw this?
So we will not find child.
Amen.
I personally think that the governor's stand, as much as he'd like to, is a brave one, because out of all the states he took his stand. But at what expense now? We are talking of 39 lives and several families destabilized presently, thinking and wondering in what situation are their children presently. And because government must be responsible, I know that the governor of Kaduna State is a very responsible governor who maybe for reasons beyond his control failed security, because security is beyond, guarding our borders.
Yeah,
it is providing social security for people within the state so that they are employed gainfully and they will not, resort to this sort of money-raising ventures that we have across board. But we are here now. And government must also take responsibility that no matter what happens, I brought my people here. I know how Nigerian government always say, it's not me, it's my predecessors. Yes, but you were part of government. The governor of Kaduna State was a minister in the FCT, was part of several governments under the PDP before he became an APC member, and now part of this government. So he's part of government no matter how you want to look at it. And we are here now, 39 kids of parents who don't know where they are. I don't want to be those parents right now. It's better imagined what they are going through right now. I'll beg him, along with them, to negotiate no matter the cost, the release of these children. And then do whatever it takes to never let it happen again in the state. But it don't happen already. And we've seen the videos of these children. I want to believe that, you know, they were doing that video, you know, to sort of like, frustrate us further, so that people are agitated to want to quickly respond.
That video looks terrible.
It's not a good thing to see. It's not at all. I'd like to beg him.
As in, the matter is just...
speak as a parent, Abi.
It's just tiring. You know that if it doesn't happen to you, you would not know how to react when certain things like this happen. And as a parent, I was just imagining, if it was something close, would I sit down and say, please, sir, do not negotiate with bandits? I won't care. I want you to go out there and bring those kids back anyhow you want to bring them back. First of all, the government had failed in protecting the lives and the properties. You do not have the capacity to rescue them without having to have one form of negotiation or the other. So why do I have to wait? Why do I have to leave these children to be the sacrificial lamb for you to get what you want to get right now? So it's not about, you know, just we don't want to negotiate. We don't want to negotiate. We don't want to pay them. We don't want to encourage them to keep kidnapping children. And right now, kids are there. I am worried about the children. I do not know their state right now. They were almost, you know, at the time they were picked, they were almost, most of them were not wearing clothes. I don't know if the girls would have been raped. I don't know if the boys would have been, you know, we do not even understand the situation with the children right now. So the parents are appealing to say, whatever it is you want to do, they have given him 48 hours.
But that elapses today.
Yeah. So whatever it is you want to do, we want these children back. Then when the kids come back, you can now take a stand and say, this is not going to happen again, and we are not going to negotiate again. But right now, we want these children back. I don't know how to say it again.
So the thing is, we've seen the trend that once they get paid, they will find another school to kidnap. They will find another school to kidnap. And that as long as we're paying these criminals, these kidnappers, is enabling the crime. Niger State has witnessed back-to-back kidnapping cases, and it's because it seems like somebody is getting paid, it is profitable, they negotiate with one group, the Shegumi negotiates with another group that you are talking to them, they now decide to. So are we not using one side of our mouths to say we want to end this banditry, we want to end kidnapping, and then our emotions to overtake us into saying that let's negotiate with them? This is not the Boko Haram time. This one is not about ideology. This is a profit business.
It's a business.
It's a business. And for us to deal with it is, are you sure that we will not just keep going around this circle where the money that can develop the society is going into funding criminals?
Beyond the business, it is also politics in some states.
Okay.
You know, even across states, what I see, all the controversies and conflicts across all the states in Nigeria, I feel that are politically incited in one form or the other. The issue here for me is, if it was the children of any of these politicians or any of these leaders, we will not even hear the negotiations. They will be released the third day.
Immediately.
And they will not disclose whether ransom was paid or not. So we know that they do pay ransom. But these children now, they are molomo. Yes, now Percy Pikin. You cannot leave Percy Pikin and say you don't want to take a stand now. The gory videos of the shooting of that poor aid worker by Shekau's group has not left my brain. I don't know why I watched that thing.
I didn't watch it.
I don't know. It was a mistake. I just clicked. I didn't expect to see it. You know, I usually don't play it. I clicked, and till date is a nightmare. So it's not something that any parent would wish. If tomorrow now they want to make a strong stand and pick one of these children, imagine the young man, the young graduate from Jos, whose parents had to watch their young boy just so that these people could make a statement, you know, watch that boy die. They would never get over it. And no matter how many emissaries you send to them, we are condemning, we condemn. All those politicians, make it when it is your own.
No, but BC, I wanted to ask you that, do you believe that our security operatives have the apparatus, the framework to rescue these people? Like, you know, why are you laughing? It's not. I feel sometimes, I feel like I speak to some of these top people in the police, top people within our SSS, and they sound so informed. They are intelligent. They've gone for many trainings. So I feel like they can. And then we've seen some cases of rescue take place where you are involving VIPs, the rescue just takes place. They say they did not pay ransom, they went there and rescued them. Do you think that our military or our police could rescue these people without paying ransom? Because we really need to stop ransom.
Do you know why I giggled? Because I think the problem is we do not have the political will to do what we are supposed to do. That's just the problem. I know the Nigerian army. I know when they are ready to fish out somebody, even if you enter the hole, they will find you. They have the intelligence, they have the manpower to find you. Now, people, bandits or kidnappers or abductors or whatever you call them, go to a school to abduct. They take those people through the road. Are you telling me that there is no military personnel, there is no police on the road who could have seen anything, who could have heard anything, who could have made noise, who could have shouted about it?
They go through the forest.
Sister,
they go through the forest.
Calm down.
Kidnapping in Lagos, they go through waterways.
Okay, hold on.
You know,
so we had a governor who came out to tell us that he's aware, he knows the people behind the last one that they were kidnapped, and he was going to mention the names of those people behind till today. Nobody's asking him a question. Nobody's inviting him to come and tell us the people, so that we start from there. What I see is, let us not use these particular children as a sacrificial lamb. Because if it's the VIPs that it happened to, they would have moved by now. Like you rightly said, we won't even know whether a ransom was paid or not. So it's the sincerity of our government to fight insecurity. Do they really want to fight insecurity, or is it profiting a few people at the helms of affairs? We need to start asking all of these questions.
So we don't have enough power.
Kidnapping is
at people.
Different levels.
BC, we don't have enough personnel. Police doesn't have enough personnel. Military doesn't have enough personnel.
Really?
The military is struggling to fight. Like, I'm just creating a bit of balance so we understand. Because sometimes, even right now, we read in papers today that the military said that an ex-military person was saying that they were using hillocks to fight people that were driving. That somebody was even saying, if you give us night equipment that we can use to fight at night, we'll be able to better defend the country. So this is the military we are expecting to be able to go and foil
but we are waiting
attacks.
for donors most times, and when we do budgets, we don't even probe and audit. Basically, if you give the $1 billion the president called an intervention for that, we saw the war go down. Unfortunately, we are finding out now they did not buy weapons. Now, kidnapping for me is of different level. When Evans was reigning in Lagos and picking up every wealthy businessman he could find for the millions of dollars he was taking as ransom for them, something was done. You understand? Intelligence was used. This man had a very high setup, strategic kind of kidnapping that when we're hearing it inside paper,
you think it can be prevented? When we come back, we'll talk about, we'll take a quick break now. When we come back, we'll take phone calls. We'd like you to join the conversation. And more importantly, we'll talk about how we can prevent this going forward. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, thanks for staying with us. We've been talking about the case of kidnapping that took place in Kaduna State, where 39 children have been taken away, and the families have given an ultimatum that if they don't get released today, and the question is, should they negotiate with them? My question was to the ladies was the fact that how can we prevent this kind of things from happening? What can the government do? Because obviously some people have seen this as a business, and they have created an economy around kidnapping across different states. And to a large extent, when the Evans people were reigning, the average Nigerian did not shout out because it didn't affect us. It was affecting the VIPs. When the Niger Delta people started it by kidnapping foreigners, they were like, it is foreigners. But now, they're no longer kidnapping VIPs alone or foreigners. They're kidnapping students back to back across different areas. Northeast is heavily proliferated with such cases back to back. So what exactly can the government do? How can we, even in Oyo State, there was like most of the last quarter, people, it might not make the news, but there were lots of kidnapping that took place within the farming community, and ransoms were paid. How do we prevent this industry from thriving further? How do we prevent this industry from reducing the opportunities for investment coming into Nigeria? Because that's part of it. Why would I want to invest in a country where if I want to visit my investment, I might get kidnapped?
Not secure, yeah. Nobody wants that. Okay, so for me, we need to look at the root cause. Because you cannot solve a problem from the top. We need to understand how these people think, what their long-term plan is. So right now what we see is the fact that they kidnap for money, right? You pay them and they release. But I don't think that's their end goal. I think there's a plan to ensure that people in those areas do not continue with education. We need to look at it. Because the time that they are out of school, those children stay away from school for that long. If they are released, they do not send them back to school immediately. The parents are scared. So they may lose like a year or 2 years of their academic session, and that's that. So aside from the fact that they are making money, there's another plan to ensure that those people in those areas do not have education. We need to look at that. We've heard allegations of the military being compromised. I am worried that nobody is investigating. Nobody is coming in. You know, we watch all these Oyibo movies where they suspect that there's a mole, the military is compromised, and then they send in their own people to work there and find out. So it's the sincerity of the government. If you are sincere that you want to curb this, you need to curb it from all the stratas. You are not just going to handle, we're not giving...
watched too many Hollywood
movies. No, it's not about Hollywood, though.
Solomon is calling from Milan. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
It's not about Hollywood.
Good morning.
So what was your initial thoughts concerning this kidnapping?
The issue is just that what I see there is purely being political, and we have those in teams of power now that doesn't want to do anything. But the matter of fact, they don't want to do anything. That is just it. And we shouldn't treat the lives of these students for what they've neglected to do. It shouldn't be now. The first thing is the ransom should be paid as usual to enable these students, the students being kidnapped, to be released. Because we believe that this thing is just people, they know what to do to just stop. Someone has come out that you know where he is. So negotiating with these people, if you are negotiating with these people, definitely you know where they are. Because for you to negotiate with them, you know where they are. Yes. You go there, you pay the money. And these are, we have been seeing pictures of person snapping with those people, showing them. And yes, the government needs to do anything. So I just need to just be another business that is booming in the country. So that's just the only thing. But they should release those students.
So Solomon's opinion is that we should pay and then start thinking of how we want to protect.
We should have. We should have. When we started creating an elitist two-level system, two-class system in the country, in those days we should have foreseen this. Like Governor Fayemi said today, a frustration has led the Yoruba people to start to identify with secession. Now, before you know it, people like Evan said it was joblessness that led to kidnapping. This banditry, yes, it has become a startup for people that need money up north. You kidnap, you get ransom, you go, another group kidnaps, and they keep getting paid. But government created the situation, and they're not looking at it, sitting down somewhere and thinking, how do we get out of this situation? How do we get our people out of criminal minds? So that we even have people who don't align with such criminal minds to help in gathering intelligence to fight them. No matter how lucrative it is, some people would hate it. Some people would never do it in those communities where they live.
We have a phone call from Kaduna, and I don't want to lose this phone. Charles, welcome to the show. Good morning. Are you with us? Oh, I think that we lost that call. Oh, sorry. Please call us back, Charles. We'd like to hear what's going on in Kaduna State.
Like I was saying, there are different levels of kidnapping. So Evans and his big man kidnapping is completely different from this. But they have their methods that they use. And these methods are not strange to every security agent. You find experts, even small experts coming on television and saying, I've been saying it for all my life. I don't know why they are not listening to me. And they have, different forms of solution, but the government always insists on their own. I have been able to meet with the DSS, and I've sat with the director of the DSS in Lagos before. I see the level of Nigerian issues and conflicts that these people are aware of. So how come we don't even
just
we don't foresee
we had
solution?
Iba Gani Adams saying that he knows some pockets of areas where these things are happening, and that the reason they will not talk or say is because they are not calling for them to come in. And the one they've even done right now, they are saying that they killed somebody and they arrested them. But here is the thing, and I want to corroborate sort of like, I feel a bit of affinity for what BC is saying, in that largely we've not seen any penalization of military officials that have been accused of being complicit, of being compromised, of being involved in this thing. And as long as within the military setting, they know that this person is sympathetic towards these people, and this person is the one giving them, and nothing is done, it would encourage others to sort themselves as well. So the political will is still at the core of what could be causing this thing. We're still waiting to get people to contribute. Can we take some tweets? You can still call us. Anthony has called us from Bayelsa. Welcome to the show, Anthony. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, madam. How are you? I like what you are doing about. Now, this issue of insecurity has become a problem to this country. And the number one priority of government is to make sure that each citizen is protected. Because if you don't protect your people, you don't have anybody to govern. I think at this stage, the Minister of Interior and the Minister for Defense should be fired. The President should start doing some investigation with his inside people. How can there be several of kidnapping in a particular region every time, and not just adults, school children? I think at this time the President should stand up and start asking questions. The Minister of Interior should be fired. The Minister for Defense should be fired. The police structure should be restored. The police structure should be looked into. We have the intelligence, for God's sake. Our militaries are intelligent. We have the DSS with full high-tech intelligence that can fish out whatever we need at any given time. Just like you were saying there. If it was a politician, before you know, they would have seen somebody. They would have known how to get the person, even without telling us whether they paid ransom or not. I think the President should start doing some firing. Because when the President stands up to his responsibility and start firing who needs to be fired, I think we'll get to the root of this thing and we'll solve it once and for all. Thank you very much.
This is what I think. I think that the government of Kaduna, along with other governors, do not have the right to say they will not pay this ransom. They lack the moral right to say so. Reason is because, you remember, we were at some point agitated about Wadume, whose arrest led to the death of the police officers who arrested him. And they implicated some military officers along with him.
Till today.
He was arrested. He's still, because officially we've not heard of his release. But the military officers' charges against them was withdrawn by the Attorney General of this country to the criticism of people like Falana and all of them at the time. Some said he justified why he released them. I felt that, yes, that because of the court martial, but we're still waiting
to hear
for the judgments. This is a case that was closely done. Even according to the papers, we felt that all evidences was already, tight. We would have expected that by now, because some states have a death sentence for kidnapping, Wadume will be hanging somewhere, or by firing squad would have been killed. He has even confessed. Somebody that broke chain, he brought handcuff. Not only have they released him, they took him somewhere. They made somebody cut handcuff off him. They couldn't get a key. Those police officers stood and they gave their lives in this country. And you made that life valueless. And then you now come and say, I will not pay ransom. You will not pay which ransom?
You will pay.
If it is your picking that is there, you will not pay ransom.
Wadume's case should have been a quick
yes, he would have deterred. He would have deterred this trend because he was their major kingpin up north, Taraba. But nothing happened.
Phone call. Welcome to the show, Hassan. Good morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Taxpayer, and good morning, BC and
morning, sir.
Please, it is high time we stop talking from both sides of the mouth. Let us be focused. This is security matter. This is a matter of emotion. Desperate situation requires desperate action. We, even on this show, people stood up against El-Rufai when he took money to Fulanis in Mali. Everybody stood against him. But the man made a very good turn. by saying that, look, I'm no longer anybody more. I'm no longer. We should stand by him. The more you pay, the more they demand. It's an endless demand. Stop calling them bandits. Call them by their names. They are armed robbers. Castle rustling is armed robbery. Kidnapping is armed robbery. You understand? It's like what is happening.
So, Hassan, do you support paying ransom, or you don't want ransom to be paid? Where do you stand?
Don't pay ransom.
And would you say the same if it's your own people? Would you have this same response if it is your family member, someone you know who's been kidnapped?
Madam, please, a crime to one is a crime to all. We should stop about this emotion. You are a woman, you are looking for a child, you are doing for this. Tomorrow they will still come for you. You understand? The more you pay, the more they come for you. How long do you expect Kaduna State government or any government?
But Hassan,
Hassan,
failure to pay is not even the issue. The government failed to curb. If you pay ransom to people, you can see.
You can use the money to trace them.
Wait, let me give you an example, sir. There was the time kidnapping was trending in Lagos. There was a killing, Agbara bank robbery, the First Act bank robbery, and the one that happened in Ekpe, and even the schools. And the robbers were trailed with the cash that they were paid with to a party in Warri, and they were arrested. How come that every time we pay ransom,
we cannot trace them
down, then there's another kidnap, and nothing is happening, but now we want to sacrifice 39 children. 39 children of Nigerian parents to kidnappers at the risk of what? Of their lives?
Let me come in here. Let me answer your question. They were arrested. Most of them were arrested. I mentioned it on the show on TVC. That look, the problem, it has this legal coloration where they will arrest a bandit. You understand? This our charge and bail lawyer. They will hide under Habeas Corpus Act. Get them out of detention. You will see a person hanging with 4 different arrests, taken to prison, bailed out by the same division. You understand? Police are doing their job. Others are doing their job. You understand? The frustration is mostly coming from legal department. You understand? By saying that until contrary proved. When is contrary going to be proved? When somebody is saying it with his mouth that he is guilty of abduction,
I'd like to disagree.
He is guilty of armed robbery,
I'd like
he
to
is
disagree.
guilty of rape. For how long?
Hassan, I'd like to disagree.
Hassan, let me even ask you. So what do you think should be the way forward? Now we know that we know that those children cannot be released without a form of negotiation. So should we leave the negotiation and leave the children there? What do you suggest?
Do you know what one of them said? They are all listening to this program the way we are all doing now. Do you know what one of them said that was involved in this kidnapping? He said everybody is making out that he's not going to negotiate, he's not going to do this, so they are doing it on him, so that he will be forced to negotiate with them, so that they can have money to go and purchase more weapons. Purchasing more weapons for what? You understand? You don't appease terror. You deal with terror with terror. Leave the issue, madam. Good morning.
Good morning, Hassan. Thanks for your contribution. You know, that's why the way some men thinking is a bit different. I have also on this show said that
your child is not involved.
We need to stop paying ransoms.
You know, if any of the parents
where we can negotiate with them to get the children out.
Do you want to
that is obviously not possible.
Maybe offering amnesty. I'm willing to do amnesty, even though I'm against amnesty either. But I'm willing to do amnesty rather than funding, because if you can get into their mind to understand what their issues are, these are Nigerians. What has pushed them into committing this type of crimes consistently? Maybe we can psychoanalyze them and understand them.
We should have been psychoanalyzing before
these 39 children again.
10 steps ahead of them, but unfortunately we don't. See, if it was any of the parents of the children who the kidnappers were willing to negotiate with, I'm sure they will be borrowing money now to pay.
Release their children.
But because they are negotiating with the state governor, and the state governor is looking at the parents and saying, I'm doing the best I can for you and I'm not going to pay bandits or negotiate to ransom. Let me tell you the truth. Why Wadume's case is still pending, why he's not being charged already, is because his pictures surfaced with politicians prior to elections across Nigeria, northern states.
Wow.
He has political protection. And we know that most of these things are political. Until we stop, we cannot continue to
politicizing the
Nigerian lives like this.
Ike is in Kaduna and is calling us on the show. I'd like to hear his perspective, being someone that lives in Kaduna. Welcome to the show, Ike.
Thank you. Good morning, my beautiful ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you. You see, for the sake of these children, I will suggest that let our able governor negotiate and free those innocent children. They know nothing about where they are being subjected to. But on the other hand, government have what it takes to track these very people even after they have paid them.
Yes, they do.
And recover back their money from them.
They do.
We don't encourage evil. We don't encourage anything that is bad. But for the sake of these innocent little children, they should romance with them, dance with them, and later after paying them, because I know that some people in Kaduna here knows where these people hideout is. They know who they are. They can still go after them and make sure that they give them what they deserve, because they are merciless. Their heart is full of evil. They need to be paid with such reward. But for the sake of this innocent little one, who knows nothing about the nation, that is suffering wherever, they should go and negotiate with them, pay them,
release them,
and later and recover back whatever things they have given to them, and prevent it also from happening again. The government, if they have the will, they can stop this thing. And I believe a strong government that has a strong will knows what to do. There are a security system, so many ways to track issues. They should track these people by all electronics. Before you know, they'll be able to discover their whereabouts and discover who they didn't give the money. So that at the end, they can never enjoy that money, because that is blood money. They don't even have a sound mind to eat that money freely. It's not that the people are conniving with them. So government to negotiate, release the children, go after them. That is my own advice. I've got to them. They will come to they want to get them. They are not spirits. They are human beings. They have a way to know.
Thank you. So spot on.
Yinka was able to give us a suggestion that might make sense on Twitter. Yinka Akib says, kidnappers are playing on our emotions to target children as our weakness link. The money meant for ransom should be paid to private military contractors to effect their freedom. How did the U.S. get one hostage out of the same Nigeria soil? So many people know where the children are. I think that's alternative I would jump for, but don't tell me you will not do nothing.
Rolake says when Governor Autumn was attacked, the presidency spoke immediately. There is a difference between citizens and the masses. After all, the Minister of Defense said we should protect ourselves. Government is a scam. Where is Wadume?
Professor Akibuyewa says we will just find ourselves in a vicious cycle if we keep making concessions to bandits. Two wrongs don't make a right, Nima. Let's put demands on our military to rescue the students and stop this naked display of emotions that will embolden the bandits. It's how many weeks now since the kids were kidnapped? You'd like to see results, you know, for every other day. Because we were watching like this when the Elia Sharibu was held back while other children were released. As of yesterday, Sarah reporters reported that she's delivered her second child in captivity. We have not negotiated. We have not released her. We don't know what she's going through presently. We are just praying she's not killed, you know.
So and we can understand the frustration.
We don't even know if her mind has been changed.
Thank you. This tough situation we are insisting, the mind is even a small thing. Make we even see the body first. These tough things we are saying we will not do. These tough decisions that we're saying we will not take, just like we say we cannot build a refinery, we can only repair the one that we claim the militants will bomb pipelines, they would steal, they would scavenge it, they would do all sorts of things. We know the problems, but we are not deliberate about the stand. That's difficult decision we are finding hard to find the will to take.
May I quickly say that the longer we leave these children, the time has gone, the longer we leave these children there, the more detrimental we are keeping their emotions, their mental health. We do not know the trainings they will be getting right now. When they come back, we do not even know how they will be accepted into society or how they will relate. So the faster we can get them out of that place, the better for everybody.
That's how we can take on this segment. For me, prevention is better than cure. Let us find a way to prevent this kidnapping in the first place. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll move on to other stories. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Tax is a powerful tool for development in most developed countries, but here in Nigeria, the goal is still far-fetched. As so, many Nigerians still regard payment of tax as a thing of choice rather than a compulsory contribution to the revenue of the state in aiding development. Joining us on the show is a tax expert and social commentator, Rashid Oluwajayi. To join the conversation, call us on 081-270-53687 or 091-390-67948. Tweet to us, we'd love to hear from you. So, tax and death. They say there are two things you cannot avoid in developed countries. But in Nigeria, many people have managed to escape.
Evade.
They manage successfully. They have become good professionals to evade the tax. And then they still have the mouth to complain about lack of development. Please, Mr. Rashid, can you start with the fundamentals of why we as a country haven't been able to successfully implement taxation across board, from both the structured employment and largely the entrepreneurs who fall within the cracks?
Yes, good morning, viewers. Thank you. Thank you, Temitope. The challenge we have in Nigeria is mostly because we don't have that paying culture. And most importantly, there's lack of data for us to be able to track individuals. You know, in foreign countries where there are provisions of data, where a government would know the amount of residents in a particular geolocation and have, you know, an identity for doing so. So, but here in Nigeria, as you can tell now, Nigeria is just going through having a national identity for individuals in the country. So because of that lack of provision of data, it makes it easy for people to evade taxes and not paying taxes. So that's why it's really been difficult to manage taxes in this part of the world.
Okay, let me ask you, sir, what are some of the entitlements that a taxpayer should have that would encourage them to pay tax? What should I look forward to?
Well, ideally, there Okay, I think I lost you. I didn't hear that last bit.
So I said, what are the entitlements, you know, that would encourage people to decide to pay tax? What should we expect as a result of paying tax to the government?
Well, ideally, there shouldn't be any benefits to individuals. It is a civic responsibility, and we must be able to do that. However, with good governance, you should expect to get good security. You should expect to get good health care system. You should expect to get good roads. You should expect to know that at least there's provisions for employment, and that all the schools, you know, there's free education and those sort of, you know, social amenities that a country should have. So these are the sort of benefits that people get when they pay taxes. Purely physical infrastructure development in the country is one of those things as well.
So recently I've been trying to sort out my taxes, and I've hit a lot of, you know, points that I almost gave up. How easy is it to, you know, to calculate your taxes, to pay in Nigeria now, and explain the e-tax annual returns that the LIRS launched recently? Something that is confusing to me too.
And did you hear the question, sir?
Filing of, Yes, I think I got some part of it. I think she was asking how easy it is to file your returns now on the new e-tax platform. Now, the new e-tax platform is an innovation that the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service had launched, I think 1st of October of 2019. And that's just to digitize our processes on tax administration, which includes filing of returns, taxpayer registration, assessments of those payers that have registered, payments, online payments, and then issues of instant receipting, online support, and obviously when you want to do objections of your tax assessments. Now, the easiest thing to do on that is to go onto the portal. You'll be able to register as an individual or a corporate entity using the N prefix as an individual. If you have your payer ID, all you need to do is do a reset of your password. Once you've reset your password, a generic password or a temporary password will be sent to the phone number and the email that you have on our database. And then you have a temporary password for which you then use to log in, and then you'll be asked to change your password after the first login. Once you've logged into that successfully, you've looked on the returns tab on the left-hand side, and then you'll be able to complete a form which is called a Form A, which is the statutory Form A for filing of returns for the preceding year of assessment. And once you've done that, then you can say that you have successfully filed your returns.
Okay, sir. Going to basic, let's break down taxation, like the basics. What are the kind of, who is eligible to pay taxes? Let's not make assumption that everybody knows what your tax is about. Let's say, okay, who is eligible to pay what kind of tax? What are the basic taxes everybody should pay? And what is the annual tax return? So that's like 3 questions in one. But just let's start with who is eligible, who is supposed to pay tax, and what sort of tax are you supposed to pay, at what age and what stage. So let's try and break that down for people. Did you hear that?
Okay, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we
yes.
can.
I heard the first part of it. I think we're having some technical issues, but I'll answer it in my own little way. Now, every taxable persons, that means everybody in a paid employment or in self-employment, are entitled to file their returns statutorily. So that means anybody that is working either in pay as you earn or is working as a self-employed individual are taxable individuals, and they are expected to file their returns on or the 31st of March of every year. That's in the case of individuals. For corporate entities, they are supposed to have filed their returns at the end of 31st of March of every year as well. And those who are eligible to pay taxes are everybody that has earned an income, either by self-employment or either in a paid employment, or even when you have an income derived from foreign overseas, then you are entitled statutorily to pay income or to pay taxes on those income. And the form of taxes being paid is just income tax, because a lot of people misconstrued taxes and say that there's a double taxation. Now, we need to understand that there are 3 tiers of government. You have the federal government, you have the state government, and then you have the local government. And each of these type of government have the taxes they collect. Now, with the state government, which is the Internal Revenue Service, the only form of taxes we collect is your income tax. We collect development levies, we collect hotel consumption, business premises, and in some cases withholding taxes on some transactions like contracting and rent. So those are the only forms of taxes that is being collected by state government. You also will find out that maybe perhaps at the local government levels, the taxes they collect there are not actually taxes. they're just levies for usable services which the local government is giving to them.
Okay.
And when you look at federal government, they collect taxes on like VAT, capital gains tax, petroleum tax, education tax, and what you have you. So they're just different levels of taxes collected by different levels of government.
Okay. All right, sir. So as I want to understand the process, so as a business person who just started, selling something, what's the process like? Are you supposed to go to the tax office to ask them to register your business, or you go with your CAC documents? Right now, when you register for CAC, you have a tax, you have a team. You go with it, and then they set up an account for you where you pay the tax. Are they supposed to take it from your account, or you have to pay in? What's the process like for someone who just started a small business?
Right. The process of registering with the tax. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Now, the process of registering for a tax entity or with the tax administration usually varies. If you're in self-employment and you don't have anybody that you're paying salaries at the end of the month, then you need not do anything until the following year, when you are by law statutorily supposed to file your returns. And on that note, it's the returns on your income that you need to file at the 31st of March of every year. So there's one that is currently going on now for self-employed individuals. Okay. Now, the other leg to that is that if you have people that are working with you and you're paying them salaries, then it is advisable that you walk into the nearest tax station next to you, register your business there, or you can actually even do it online on the eTax platform, which is etax.lrs.net. All that will be required is your CAC form, and then you register your company. Once you've registered your company, you pay your staff salary, and on a monthly basis, you limit the taxes deducted from your employees. You can even do that online, or you can walk into the nearest tax station to do that.
Okay, Nima.
A lot of before reforms had happened before within Lagos, particularly for taxes. I remember that artisans were grouped to be paying their taxes by association. Is that still the position? And if it's been reviewed, what's now the way? Because when she mentioned small businesses, I remember you just talked about small businesses registered. We have tailors, welders, all of that, whose taxes were in the past reformed, and some way was designed for them to pay their taxes. Also, for businesses like you mentioned, within the first year, please clarify the eve of their 1 year registration is when they're due, or how is it calculated so that people listen?
Hello, did you hear that, sir?
Yes, I think I heard the first question was on artisans, and the second question was on how, whether or not there's a tax holiday before paying taxes.
Yes.
Was that what the question was?
Due? And when it is due, when exactly is it due?
Okay. Now, the first instance is that with the artisans, we have a new innovation, which the agency just launched at the 1st of November of 2020, which is called Ibile Hub. The Ibile initiative is an acronym for all the 5 divisions in Lagos State. And with that, we have a consultant employed by the agency who is on behalf of the agency relating with all the artisans and all the groups, all the market women, to collect taxes largely in the informal sector only. And we're doing that. We're speaking to the yalogers, we're speaking to the NURTW to be able to administer all this tax and collect whatever monies that is due to government.
Oh, so please, hold on.
Second aspect,
sorry, sir. Let me just get this clear. The yalogers and NURTW, the funds they collect is remitted to the state government?
Not at present, but we're looking at a way where these funds will be remitted to the government.
They're working
not
on it.
at this present moment. Yes, we're just working on that, because if there are people out there collecting revenue, then those revenues should be due to the state government. So what we're doing is we're talking to them to ensure that we'll be able to get those funds into the state coffers.
Okay. So I mentioned artisan, it was deliberate. So I have the Fashion Designers Association of Lagos State sharing my office complex.
Yeah, and they pay.
They meet regularly. They talk about these issues when I, listen into their meeting, because they use microphones when they're meeting. And the way they talk about these taxes, sort of, I think it has covered, those operating within the state. If that's not the true position, please clarify. Do the people operating, because you see local government officers go to shops and lock them up, say they've not paid lock-up shops and all of that costs. Yeah. What is the position exactly for artisans?
Can you answer that question in less than a minute, sir? Because we're done with this.
Okay, we need to make sure what kind of levies it is the local government are asking for. If you go to the Lagos State government's website, which is the LASG, and look at all the taxes remitted that is supposed to be collected by the internal revenue, the local government, you'll be able to see the types of taxes and the rates of levies that are being collected, so that individuals at the touch of a button would know what taxes or levies they're supposed to pay and at what rate they're supposed to pay.
All right,
so if any local government official comes to them, then they can tell them that this is actually what they're expected to pay and this is the rate that they're expected to pay. And obviously collect revenue receipts for whatever payments that are being made.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. We appreciate. We know that the government needs taxes and they need we to pay taxes. And I think that it will be easier for us as citizens to hold the government accountable when we are paying our taxes as well. So we will continue to always talk about taxes and encourage payment of taxes by citizens. That's all we can take on this segment. We've got a quick break. When we come back, we'll move on to another topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Position in 2023. As the general election gets closer, when will the youth of this country take their destinies into their hands? That's the question many of us are asking. How will we begin to change the orientation of our teeming youth away from what we used to be prior to this time, and the level of distraction based on social media has even made it worse. So joining us on the show right now to discuss this is a youthful politician and a governorship candidate in Lagos during the 2019 election. He's an architect, Abiodun Dabiri. I'd like to further this conversation with you, but before we go, I want to invite our callers to the shows. Call us on 081, and I would really love to have calls from 21-year-old people. Like, I want to hear from the 20-something-year-old people. 23. Please call in on the show. The number is right there on your screen, 08127053687. And you can also call us on 091-390-76948. In your 20s, we'd love to hear from you. Now, coming to you, Mr. Dabiri, I need to understand, what can we do to get more young people involved and interested in politics in Nigeria right now?
Well, that's a bit quite a tough.
We're having unstable network. Let's see if we can bring him back to answer this question. So I'll repeat my question to you just to be sure. How can we get young? Yes, we can hear you. Did you hear my question, sir? Did you hear my question?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Okay, so go ahead and answer, sir.
Okay, well, it's a bit of it's like a cliche, because clearly we know that the most important, society is dynamic, change is constant, but when and how the change now happens is what one cannot really decide or determine. But I know that if the government in itself realizes that we do need to involve younger, more vibrant, dynamic people in governance, and they push it as a policy, then clearly the days that the youth will be more involved with politics will be nearer than we think.
We find Nigerian youths every time online, everywhere, get involved in blame game. You know, we sort of just say, it's government, it's government, it's government, to the point like we're helpless. You know, what exactly do you think a Nigerian youth can do in the face of most of the issues that we have today, considering how government has treated them with the hashtag against us?
Well, the Nigerian youth in it.
Oh, we can't hear you. What happens?
Well, the Nigerian youth in themselves. Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, please speak up. Continue.
Hello.
We can hear you now. Please go ahead.
Okay, the Nigerian youth in themselves have. Okay, the Nigerian youth in themselves have made the first move. Yeah, so they're becoming more aware of their environment, and they're becoming more aware of their environment. So what is just needed is that catalyst to continue to steer them in the right direction, because the youth as a team make up over 65% of our population. So when you exclude that amount of people from being involved in the governance of our nation, then it's a very serious problem. So social media in itself also has helped, because information moves faster. Events are happening, the reactions come quickly. So people are getting more and more, the youth are getting more involved in politics. But the thing about it is that there's a gap, a huge gap where they were not involved. They were not aware of their environment. They focused on other things. But right now, the thing about it is that with the social media, the information, the level and speed at which information is transmitted and people get information, they are forced to become aware of their environment and their reaction. The reaction may not be as fast as we expect, but it's coming. And I know that sooner than later, we're going to have a tsunami. We'll have a tsunami of so many youth flooding the political space, because now they've realized that governance trumps everything.
All right, BC.
Okay, so I wanted to ask, is there any plan to, make politics, governance a bit more digital? Now, we are generations apart, and the youths of today are they are the youths of the future. They are digital in everything they do. You can actually get everything done on your phone. And the way we operate our government, we're still analog. We're still having to meet for physical meetings. We're still having to, write, you go to the police station and you write a statement with your pen and paper. Everything is still analog based. And the youth are not interested because the world is moving very fast. Is there anything we can start doing now to encourage, aside from encouraging the youth to be a part of governance, to also change things in a way that it will be easier for the young people to, fall in line? Is there any plan like that? Did you hear me, sir?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, well, look, I'll be very honest with you. The technology to have digital elections, registrations is with us now. We don't need to be looking to the future. The technology is available to us now. But I do believe that certain, the old order, let's call them the old order, they are afraid about a situation that they cannot control. There's a bit of fear. The new things bring fear. people are used to what they can control, what they can determine. If you continue in analog, you can determine it, you can enter the process at any point you think you are not happy with what is going on. But when it's all digital and computerized, it is difficult. What would happen is that the will of the people would prevail.
And
now,
they don't want
if you continue to make a process cumbersome, people are more. If you continue to make a process cumbersome, what would happen is that people are less likely to follow that process. People are less likely to want to partake in it. Even in the developed economies, it happened in the American elections, where certain laws were made to prevent the black voters from coming to the polls to vote, because those in government at that then did not want, they felt that the block vote of the blacks would fail to the election. So it's not peculiar. What is happening in Nigeria is not peculiar to any other, it's not peculiar to us. It's everywhere in the world. Those in government, those in power, would like to hold on to control as much as they like. But the truth about it is that that is the direction the world is moving. Nothing can be done about it. It is going to come. The technology is available now. It's just what is at what point does it become impossible and impractical to continue with the kind of electoral process that we have. It's going to come, whether we like it or not. You know, the technology is available, it's with us now, and it's going to come. And the moment that happens, when I can hold on to my phone and do my registration, I can hold on to my phone and do so many things. I can do, you can do early voting. If I feel I'm not going to have time to go for the election, I can early vote. It's there. The technology is available, with present with us. So the more we embrace that, I'm sure we're going to see greater participation of, we're going to see greater participation of the youth in politics. And many other people, the young and not so young. The moment we streamline the process and make it convenient for people to carry out their civic responsibilities, clearly we're going to have a very, very higher percentage of voter participation, both the young people and the also not so young people.
There's a problem with the quality of young people that we have. So we have a large number of our young people, and it's paid us off, you know, in this pandemic, because we have a high level of survival because of that. But when you speak with some young people, you'll be shocked and afraid of what the future would be. I was speaking recently with a young person of about 22 who was finding boring to watch the news. And I said to him, what do you think a refinery is? He said, I don't know and I don't care. This is an educated young person. But a person had all the news on the video, Wizkid and Burna Boy. I was afraid, you know, because this person does not know what should be most important. I'm not, you know, downplaying entertainment, but I'm saying this is not the people. How
are we teaching civic education?
You know, who would determine the future? And the excuse was, his excuse was, I was a science student. What are you doing in your capacity? Having run for office, for governorship, what are you doing in your capacity to give that proper civic education to young people around you?
Well, you know, largely the problem, you cannot take one problem away from the other. And we have a fundamental problem with our educational system in Nigeria and the quality of graduates and young people that we are producing. So we are just reaping what we have sowed. But having said that, there's also a large percentage of politically aware young Nigerians, and who, even if they are not in politics, they are serious-minded, they are focused, and they go for what they want. So it's not a total loss. We will not have as many as we want. But once you start that trend, everybody knows and is aware of what is going on. The high prices, unemployment. You don't need to be a genius to know that there's unemployment. You don't need to be a genius to know that you can't get a job. You don't need, the problems of this country face the youth on a daily basis, and all of us on a daily basis. So what we are doing is that, I mean, first of all, in my capacity, I've set up the I Am Involved campaign, which basically says that, look, we all have to be involved in this process. I mean, it's not totally a youth-oriented thing, but we have a youth wing, and we also think everybody must be involved, not only the young people, but the young people. The future of Nigeria, and indeed the future of Africa, depends on our youth.
All right, Mr. Dabiri, let me just take this
call. The private sector, citizens, to arrange and organize ourselves.
Let me just take this call from Patrick. Welcome to the show. Good morning, Patrick.
Good morning, Tommy, DC and Nima.
I hope you're a young person, you're youngish or you're young. We're looking forward to getting your voice doesn't sound like you're in your 20s. Maybe.
I'm a youth.
Okay, that's good. Go ahead, please, with your contribution.
Yes, please. I'm so disappointed that you asked for callers between 20s and our guest is an old man.
What did you say, sir?
Say he's disappointed.
Our guest is not an old man. I did not get, okay. Oh, yeah, we lost the phone call. So I'm still hoping that we have more callers coming because our number is right there on the screen. And more importantly, we are almost out of time, but we really want to hear from young people. What do you think, what's the problem that young people are facing? Tweets at us. We want to know what would make it easy for you to get more involved in politics?
Digitalize it.
And is our guest still there? Mr. Dabiri?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. So I want to ask you this question. The few times that we've had, the young people that we've had go into politics, I've always felt like they should go on a more grassroots level. Contest for councillorship, contest for chairmanship. Start, build your way up. You can't go fighting to become president. You cannot, you cannot start a political career from the top. You're supposed to grow all the way, build your base as a young person. So my question to you would be that, would you say that the political platforms that are already existing are not giving people opportunities to start small, and that's why young people are going to new parties and trying to start from the top? Or what can the existing political structures do to encourage more young people into political office?
Or that the young men have big eye?
Well, you cannot knock a man from having big dreams, but also there's a process. Now, they are just responding to the dynamics of our society as it is. You know, we don't respect processes that much, and everybody knows that. Look, if you're talking of a state, the governor, if you want to make any meaningful or visible impact, you need to be at the head. So this may be what is guiding their decisions, thinking that, I mean, if I go and be a councillor, I can't influence anything. What impact will I have? So it may be a problem of impact, them believing that, I mean, I want to be in a position where I can do the most good that I can. But I must say that, I mean, it will take time, but it's good to start, for the youth to start at the grass, start small and grow. But like I said, it may be a function of the current electoral process and the way the way the game is being played. Yes, the current political institutions, they are rigid. They hold on to the leaders hold on to the reins of power tightly, and you have to go through them to get whatever you want. So that may be also part of the problem. But I think that it's the duty of the political parties to actually try and go the youth, to think about a process of mentorship, process of mentorship, process of ensuring that. So by the time you get to any major position of authority, you've gone through a process. That's exactly what the Chinese practice.
Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you so much for your contribution. We appreciate your time, Mr. Abiodun Dabiri. You definitely have led by example by contesting, and we're wishing you all the best in your political career, even on your journey as you mentor. Once again, would call on every young person, even though you did not call us on the show to discuss politics, we would call on you to get involved in politics. We need to be more involved in decision-making, and we need to start planning ahead towards 2023, especially considering all our lawmakers locally within the states and federal House of Assembly should also be considered. So, On that note, we've come to the end of the show. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Tokwe.
Wonderful.
Thank
we'll
you,
see you all tomorrow.